Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for listening in on my latest COVID-19 update. To date, there are 54 positive COVID cases in Newburyport, and unfortunately, we've seen 2 deaths. But we are fortunate to have a very low number of positive cases locally, and the state has seen a decline in new reported deaths and cases, which means we're moving in the right direction. As you may know, earlier this week, Governor Baker released the basics of his 4-phased safe reopening of Massachusetts. Start, cautious, vigilance, and the new normal. Progression through each of these phases will be accomplished through a measured approach guided by scientific evidence and data pertaining to the COVID-19 pandemic. Specifics as to which business sectors will be able to reopen in Phase 1 and which will need to wait for further progress against the virus will become clearer when the governor's report by the Reopening Advisory Board is released early next week. I will speak more on this shortly, but I want to emphasize that the governor is not simply reopening the economy on May 18th, nor will Newburyport just let everything open. As we continue together to work through these challenges, I want to commend members of our community for doing your part and working to flatten the curve in the transmission of this virus. Most people continue to think of others first and make smart decisions every day. I know your compliance with rules and regulations has really helped, including staying at home except for essentials, social distancing, wearing face masks and facial coverings in essential businesses, and wearing face masks when you are outdoors, when you cannot keep that safe distance, avoiding gatherings, and washing your hands frequently. To clarify the issues around wearing a mask or a face covering, you must have a mask or face covering with you each time you go outside. If you are unable to safely social distance in any area, please wear your face covering or mask. The city has free cloth face masks available for residents in need of a mask. They may be obtained at the Newburyport Senior Center Monday through Friday from 9 to 1, or you may call the Senior Center at 978-462-0430 to make arrangements for another time for pickup. Thank you to all the volunteers who have made the masks. Playgrounds and athletic fields remain closed, including the skate park. We've also required that dogs be on leash at all times in public areas until further notice. I have heard dog owners' concerns and discontent with this. Unfortunately, it needed to be done. We were having major issues at one of our off-leash areas, and closing this site only moves the problem. As neighboring communities have closed off-leash areas, we also saw an increase in use. We anticipate being able to relax this restriction in the near future, and I request your patience and understanding. This is a temporary situation. The rail trail, boardwalk, parks, and other open spaces remain open in Newburyport. All public parking on Plum Island remains closed. However, the beaches and Parker River remain accessible to pedestrians for transitory use, walking, jogging, and biking. We will be working with the town of Newbury on a reopening plan for beach parking in the parking lots, in accordance with state guidelines. I have also been in contact with neighboring beach communities and with Southern Maine, and New Hampshire representatives as we coordinate reopening efforts. The superintendent and his team at the school department are finalizing plans for the end of the year school traditions, such as high school graduation and senior week activities, 8th grade class day, and grade level transitions. In the meantime, schools, teachers, and students continue to navigate through online learning as we near the end of the school year. I cannot thank our school leaders, teachers, parents, and students for all of your efforts. This has brought many challenges. The school year is winding down, so hang in there. The last day of school will be here in just a few weeks. Additionally, the Newburyport School District and Newburyport Youth Services is partnering with Pettingill House and launching an arts, crafts, and school supply program. The initiative will ensure that students have access to supplies they need for their education and other enrichment activities while at home. We understand many families are waiting to hear whether we will be able to offer summer programming and camps this year. We do not know. We do know that guidelines are currently being written by the CDC, but ultimately the states will be determining their own course of action. State guidance on these will be coming next week with the Governor's Advisory Board report. It is likely that our summer camps will not be operating as we have known them in the past. There is still a lot of uncertainty, and we will adjust to whatever we need to do to keep our children and staff safe. Information will be sent out through youth services as soon as we have clearer direction. Regarding the reopening of the state, I wish to share this very important information. Going forward, we need to take a measured approach as we think about opening any industry or any areas, whether it is business or social gathering. It must be slow and steady. We expect that the Governor's Advisory Board's report will include details on the industries and businesses that may be included with each phase of the reopening. I want to be clear that non-essential businesses should not expect to be opened next week. We need to be patient until we receive information from the state. The goal of the phased reopening, based on public health guidance, is to methodically allow certain businesses, services, and activities to resume while protecting public health and restricting the resurgence of new COVID-19 cases. It's important to note that the Governor has advised that all is contingent on following the public health metrics to determine when Phase 1 start of reopening begins and when it is safe to move on to concurrent phases after that. Here in Newburyport, we are working together with our local businesses to support them in every way possible as everyone plans for how we can reopen our local economy for employers and customers. Our Economic Recovery and Task Force continues to meet. We received over 300 survey responses from businesses and nonprofits and are analyzing responses to share with the task force and community. The task force has assembled representative groups by economic sector to begin developing reopening plans on the local level: restaurants, personal services, small businesses, retail, nonprofits, art, general business, and manufacturing. The focus groups will meet over the next 2 weeks and develop phased plans for safe reopening of our local economy. In addition, we anticipate learning from these groups how the city, including its boards and commissions, can help play a role in facilitating a safe, thorough, and comprehensive reopening. I am also working with my department heads on a phased plan for reopening municipal buildings. This requires installing plexiglass shields in offices with customer counters, procuring sufficient PPEs, disinfectant, sanitizer, as well as making decisions on safe scheduling and access. Remote meetings, despite all the challenges, will be the norm for the next many months. This week, it was announced that Yankee Homecoming is canceled this year. I know many are disappointed, but we had no choice. In conjunction with state guidelines, the Board of Health, our local public safety team, we have determined that no large-scale events, such as parades and festivals, will be allowed to take place over the summer. Smaller events that can run safely and comply with limitations to gatherings and social distancing will be considered by city officials and the Board of Health on a case-by-case basis. However, we do suggest that anyone planning events that brings people into close contact, like concerts and performances, begin trying to find alternatives. To be clear, this pertains to the summer, and no events have been canceled throughout the rest of the year. While summer events will not go on, we await more information and further guidance on the remainder of the calendar year. We have the Newburyport Connected webpage on the city website, a resource for all, and have dedicated staff available to guide you. Please complete the online form and you will be contacted. You can also use the same form to request gift cards for food. We have received many donations and would like to distribute these to anyone in need of assistance. And remember to look for resources and updates on the city website, cityofnewburyport.com. Lastly, please know we are committed to do everything we can to protect both the public and economic vitality of our community. There is no question that the people in our Newbury community continue to display the very best every day. People caring for, looking after each other, donating food, supplies, and PPEs, shopping for those in need, placing bird feeders on the outside of windows of nursing home residents, and so many other wonderful acts of kindness. People putting others first. We are slowly moving forward, and I ask all to continue working with us as we safely and cautiously begin the opening of the city based on the guidelines from Governor Baker and the advisory board anticipated early next week. No non-essential business may open next week until authorized. Thank you to all of you. Please continue to be safe, stay well and healthy. Thank you.